Hello friends, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to build the registration form using Servlet, JSP, JDBC and MySQL so that user can register themselves in the application by providing their details. But before moving into the forward, I wanted to show you this flow diagram how Servlet and JSP work together. So this is the registration form where the users has to enter their details, and once they click on the submit button, one URL get called, that is register. So that register try to go into the your workspace in your Eclipse and try to check which class has been mapped with that URL. For suppose the employee servlet.java has been mapped with that URL. So whatever you logic written in this servlet class get executed, and that will establish the connection. Suppose it will establish the connection with the MySQL database, and finally it will store all the employee details or the user's detail in the MySQL database which they provided at the time of registration. So once they stored, and it will return the primary key or the ID of that employee details to the servlet, that database. So once the servlet received that ID and or the details of the employee which has been stored in the database, it will call the another page, that is email details.jsp or the JSP page. So JSP is just used for displaying or viewing purpose. It is not required for processing the data, it's just for viewing, like displaying the data to the client. For example, we are saying we are the client or the end user, or the client you can say browser. You can just it is used to show the data to the give the data to the a client or the browser. So finally it will display like this, whatever the name or the first name last name they have entered at the time of registration, it will come and it will display here like this in the employee detail.jsp page. So let's begin on the code level how all these things works. So this is the article I have written in which I explain each and every step in a very good way. If you want, just go through this article, you will easily understand and you will able to build this application. So I'm going to follow each and every step here. So step number one, we need to create the dynamic web project in your IDE. Since I'm using the Eclipse, I'm going to switch into the Eclipse, and where I have to create the dynamic web project. And here also I have mentioned the steps, what are the steps required to create that dynamic web project. Just go into the file, click on new project. Under that you will find this. Okay, just go one by one. Go into the file, new, under that project, and inside that you can see there is a WEB web, and inside that there is a dynamic web project. Just click on that and click on next. It will ask to give you the project name, give some name. I'm giving registration form here, and click on next button and click on finished. Once you click on the finished, your project folder will be created here in the left side of your screen or in your workspace. Now move into the article again. See, step number 2, we need to configure the Tomcat server in the Eclipse. So here, if you don't have the Tomcat installed in your local system, just go in this URL, or you can just search on the browser. You will easily get and download the Tomcat server. So once you download the server and extract all the required file, you can just go to the Eclipse to do the configuration related to Tomcat server. So what are the things we need to do here? I have written. So once you have downloaded and extracted, please come back to the Eclipse workspace, and in the bottom section you will can see the different tabs are available. Please select the server as shown in the figure. So just move here and see these are the tabs. See the third one, server. So now if you click here, here is the link. Click the link to create the new server. You have to click on that. So once you click here, you can get the Apache option. Just click on that, and these are the versions available. So you can select whatever you want. I am selecting this one, and it is good if you select the latest version. I am selecting the Tomcat 8.5 because I downloaded already. I have in my system 8.5 server. So I will click this and click on the next. Make sure the version numbers should be match what you have downloaded from the browser or whatever the system in your system the Tomcat server have been. Okay, once you have and click on next button and just click on just browse the folder. This browse the folder where you have downloaded your Tomcat server. So in my case, I have in the C folder and I will go into the program files. Not in the program files, I will go into the users. Under that, go to download file. In my case, I have in the downloads. So see, Apache Tomcat 8.5.57. So see, the version number is 8.5. That's why I configured 8.5 earlier. So I will click here and select this folder, and yeah, this is done, and click on next and select the project for which you are try to establish the server or try to do the configuration in the Tomcat server. I will choose this project and click on finish. So once you click on the finish, you can see here Tomcat 8.5 server at the local host. So from here you can just right click and you can start the server or you can stop the server. So basically we will look forward once our application will get created. So let's jump into the article, and here I have mentioned all the steps. If you face any difficulty, just go through this article. I will give the link in the description. Now, step number 3, add the following dependencies. So please download and add the latest version follow for the following jar files and place inside the lib folder. Okay, these are the dependencies or the jar files we require: JSP, Servlet and MySQL connector. Since we are using the MySQL as a database, so we required, and at the last JSTL jar. Okay, so these are the jar files which is required, and make sure you should download the latest version. You can simply go into the browser and search by their name. You can easily get it. I have already downloaded in my system, and I have stored here, that is Servlet API, JSP API and MySQL connector. All the things I have stored. So what we need to do, we have to place in the lib folder. So what I'm going to do, I will just copy that and I will move into the Eclipse. I will just open this and you can see wave content. Inside that, the wave inf folder is there, and here the lib. So just right click and paste it there. See, once it is pasted, I have pasted all the jar file is there. Now move into the article. See, please make sure, and note here is the important point, please make sure you should download the Servlet jar file version 3.0.0 or later version, because in this case I am going to use the annotation based servlet or the calls like at the rate web servlet. So that thing was not available in the earlier version. So in this version you need to, like, you have to download 3.0.0 or the later versions for the web servlet annotation. So I will show you in the coding part how it is required. Step number 4, we need to configure do some setup for MySQL. Make sure you have the MySQL is installed in your system. If you don't, just go and download it. It is very easy. So what you have to do, just create a one database or a schema with name PlayStation app. Of course, you can give whatever name you want to give. So just I'm going here. This is the MySQL workbench, and these are the schemas already I have created earlier in earlier videos. So in this for this videos, I am going to create a new schema here. See, this is the box. From here you can create easily, and I'm giving the name registration app and click on apply. So it will ask and click on apply and finished. So see, here it is created registration app. Now come to the article here. What next? We need to create a class that is with the name employee. Okay, this is the query code. SQL query is simple. If you know little bit SQL, then you can easily understand what this query is. This is just for creating purpose, creating the table. So I will just copy this and I will go here in the workbench and I will paste it there. So see, what are the things I have mentioned: ID, first name, last name, username, password, address, contact, and the primary keys as a ID. So same thing, whatever I showed you in this figure, first name, last name, this is the employee details going to be stored in this employee table. I will run it this query. Now see, I have I have run this query and just go check whether it is created or not. Just refresh this from here and go to tables. Yeah, there you can see employee table. Right click and select close. So this is the table has been created. Still there is no data. We are going to populate or fill with the some data at the time of registration. So let's come into the step number 5. Create the Java Bean class for the employee. So this class is basically act as a payload or the class which contain all the properties. Like when you see here, when you submit, click on the submit, it will all the data like first name, last name, username, password, all the data will combined in one class object for this employee. Okay, for that purpose only it is going to use. So it will act as a payload or just a class or the object to transport the data from the client side to the server side. So that purpose we are going to use this employee.java. So just go here and go to Java folder source folder and click on right click. Actually click right click and new and create a class. Give the name employee and click on finished. So what I'm going to do, I will just copy this and then I will show you what are the purpose and what are the variables we have created in this class. So this is the class and I will paste it here. So see what are the things we have created? Same first name, last name, username, password. So whenever the users click on submit button, first name will be come store in this variable, last name will be store in this variable like that. So that is the purpose of this class. So that's why it is called this class is also called Java Bean class because this is going to use for just payload. Now step 6. Now in the step 6, we need to create the doc class. So basically this class is to access the data from the database or to establish the connection with the database and process all the data or store all the data from the our Java code to database. So this is just very simple. I will explain you once I will copy this thing and then I will explain you how it is going to work. So just come here and right click on source, not in this package, right click on this package, new, and create a class. What is the name? Employee doc. So paste it here, that code, and close the extra tab so that you can easily understand or you can easily see what are the things is there. So here the very first thing, here I have written the simple insert query, SQL query, and stored into the a string. So this is responsible for inserting the employee data. What are that? First name, last name, username, password, address, and make sure you should not enter or specify the ID here because in the database see in the query I wanted to show you. See the query what we have executed here. We have mentioned it is as a primary key. ID is a primary key and it is auto increment. Okay, it will automatically increment one by one when you store the multiple data like employee data details. So that is the purpose we are not going to use or specify here ID. So now come to next for name. This is MySQL. We are MySQL driver. For that purpose we are using this. Step number 1, here I specify establish the connection with the database. So this line will establish the connection with your database and you have to specify the URL of the database and make sure this is the schema name should be correct or the database name. So I already mentioned created the registration app. See here the name of this schema registration app. So this thing I have created and specify the username and the MySQL password. So whatever the password you have given at the time of downloading the MySQL or installing, so that password it is required. So once the connection is established, the next step is create the statement using connection object. So this statement we are going to create And what we are doing here, we are just specifying employee get a last name, employee username, employee password like that. And see here, one thing is here. Okay, the very first thing is first name, last name like that. In the statement, we prepare the statement, and finally, once it get executed, we calling the function execute update. So it will get all the details of the users or the employee get saved or stored into the MySQL once this query get executed. So this line is executing that query, SQL queries, and this will go and store here. All the data will store here. So in the next step, I will show you from where this class or this method register employee get called. Okay, so this register employee actually it is called from the servlet, and in the next step we are going to create the employee servlet class. See, step number we saw step number 6 dog. This is the dot data access. That's why it is called data access, because this class is responsible for connection purpose and storing the data into the database. Step number 7, we need to create the servlet for employee. So the very first step what I am going to do, I will just call this, I will create the class. Same, right click, new, and class. So don't give the .java here. So here class has been created. Now come here, I will just copy and paste it. Because why I am doing this? Because my main objective is to explain each and every line of code so that you can easily understand and you can easily get this type of the code from anywhere on the internet. See, the very first thing I have tagged with the web servlet annotation, and I specify the register URL here. So whenever any request come to the or come for the register, it will map with this employee servlet.java class. See here, when you click on the submit, it will call and it will go into map with the employee servlet.java class. Now the next thing is this is the init method, and here how it is servlet class, because we are extending HTTP servlet. It is just a simple class only, but when we extend the HTTP servlet class, here this is the predefined class and it is present in the package JPEG as servlet.http.servlet. See here, so it is imported from there and it contains all the important methods which are required to perform or process the data in the servlet. See, the very first thing what we have done here, we have just calling this is the init method. This is used for just initializing. This is the starting point of servlet lifecycle. Okay, so once any request come for the very first time, HTTP request. So the very first thing it will initialize that thing whatever we declare here. Okay, so the very first thing what it will do, it will create the object of employee dog. So it will call only one time. So when you call the this servlet for the very first time, so the servlet will get created, and then so once it will initialize that, it will execute the init method, then it will call the service method, and service method contain all another method like do post, do get, and do delete like that. So based on what type of the HTTP request comes to the servlet, since here when the users click on the submit, it will call the post request. Okay, so that's why do post I have written here, do post, and this do post get called and all the further things going to be done here. So see, the very first thing is HTTP servlet request. This is the object which is provided by the servlet itself. Can you see it is imported? It is a predefined class and it will just giving the object reference for HTTP servlet request. And at the same time for response also we have this class object. Okay, so see the very first thing what we are going to do, we are just calling the get parameter method, that is the predefined method, and we are specifying the variable name. Okay, this variable name first name. So it will return the first name of that employee, similarly last name and like that, all the things. And finally we have created the employee and that which we are going to use as a payload. Okay, we created the object of employee, and we have setted all the values, first name, last name, a password, contact address, all the things. And next, see, this is the point, this is the line from where the register employee getting called, and this method is defined in the doc class. So once you click on there, the employee details, whatever we set in the sublet, all the employee details will come in this object, employee object. Okay, so then further we are just processing all the data. Okay, we are getting the employee first name, last name, username, and then finally we are executing this statement, and all the data will get stored. All right, and once it is stored, it will return the result. Actually, this return result is the int name or int type. So currently it is 0. If it is stores something, it will return some numbers greater than 0. And finally, it will return here this method, and it will come back here in the employee sublet class, and it is stored in the register employee ID. So what we are going to do, then I am checking whether that is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, it definitely get data is get stored in your database. Then what I am going to do, I am just calling one more method, set attribute on request object reference, where I am setting the first name, last name, username, contact address of the employee, for which the detail has been stored into the MySQL database. Then on that object reference, request object reference, I am calling another method, get request dispatcher, to dispatch all the details and transfer into the JSP page to display purpose, for displaying purpose, so that as the users or the client or for the browser, they can easily display the what are the details has been saved. All right. So see, I wanted these things. These are the data we are passing. This is the employee details.jsp. So it will calling the employee details.jsp, and there we are forwarding that request object reference, and which contain all the details. And I will explain you in there also how it works in that .jsp page, and we are just forwarding in that JSP page. Now, step number 8. That is all things we are doing in the employee sublet. Now come into the step number 8. Create the JSP page for the employee registration page. Okay, so this is the employee registration register.jsp, which is by default which come this page. This is basically JSP page which contain the forms where the user can submit their details. So let's create that page employee. So what I'm going to do, I will just copy it and I will paste it there, and then I will explain you each things, what are the things here, and make sure you should create that JSP page in the web content folder. So I will right click and create a JSP file from here. Give the name, what is the name here? Employee register.jsp. So I will give the name employee register.jsp and click on finished. See, this is the JSP page has been created. Now I am pasting that code. Sorry, not this one. Come here. I will just copy this and paste it there. Alright, I paste it, and see, this is I have created the table tag, and this is just a simple form tag. If you know little bit HTML, then you can easily understand. So see, the very first name, last name in the tabular form. How it will look? It will look like this. So once you click on the submit, what is going to do? See, once you click on the submit button here, finally the form having some action. Alright, so action, it will specify the path or the URL, which URL going to be called. See, the very first thing, request.get context path. So this will return the root path where your project has been stored. So this project register form where has been stored. This will return the path, and then it is adding this thing also inside that along with that single forward slash register. So once you click on that submit button, it will send the post request, HTTP post request to this register URL. So where we define this thing, we define in the employee servlet. See here, register. It is matching exactly. So it will going to execute this logic, whatever the logic we saw earlier, or I explained you earlier how it works in the servlet. It will execute, and see it is mentioned the post. That's why I have specified do post. So it will accept only the post. If you try to send the get request, it will not going to process here, because it is only accept the HTTP post request. So once everything is done, and all the data will going to store here, and finally it will forward this to the employee details.jsp. So that thing we are also going to create in next step. So let's see, come here. And here I explain all the things you want. Just go through this employee details.jsp. So once the a request, it will come here, and once the data is saved, it will call the employee details.jsp. So let's create this page also. So now what I'm going to do, I will just copy it, and I will come here and right click new JSP file, give the name here employee details.jsp, and just I'm copying this code so that I get enough time to explain it. I will just copy it and I will paste it here. Now if you notice here, we are using some of the symbols like this, uh, these symbols, and here actually this symbol is used to separate the Java code from the JSP or the HTML tags, so that it can execute properly. And in this article I have explained how or what are the things it is that along with the symbol and their name and the purposes. So I also wanted to explain you how it is work here. Now come here, when you click on the submit, it will execute your servlet code. So it will execute your servlet code, it will store the data in the MySQL, then it will call the employee details.jsp. Now if you go here in the servlet code, employee servlet, and here we are calling the one method get request dispatcher, and where is we are mention the JSP file name employee details, and we are forwarding request and response object reference to that page. So once it get executed, the control or thread will come here in employee details.jsp, and here what we are going to do, we will get the request object reference, and from there we are calling one method get attribute. So it will return the first name, we are specify the first name here, and it will return the object. So I am going to convert into the to string, it will convert into the string. So it will return the employee first name. Alright, similarly for the other variables too, last name, username and everything. And then what I am going to do, I am call this auth.println. It will use to display the things in the HTML page or the client browser. So whatever you see here, I can show you this thing. Please verify the details. So actually it is coming from where? It is coming from this println. Please verify the details. Alright, the H1 tag contain the employee has been successfully registered, and this and here we get all the details. And finally I have created the table tag where I have mentioned the first name, specify the first name, and this tag, see this symbol which is used as a for the value purpose to face the value purpose here. I explain you what is the name of this expression tag. Okay, scripting tags or elements is there, and it will display that value here, and similarly for the other last name, username and everything. So these are the all the things we have done, and I already explained in this article all the details how the things is going to be work. So everything is working fine, then this will display the page like this. So let's run this application on the server, and make sure before running that the MySQL password is correct in your whatever you have provided in your MySQL workbench. So now let's deploy our application on Tomcat server. For deployment purpose, come here in the project folder name, right click and run on server. Click on run on server. It will ask here, just select this and click on finished. So once you click on the finished, it will start running and it will start running on port number 8080. I'm just copying this link and I will go into the browser here. I will paste it and I will find the register.jsp page. So this is the form. This is the employee registration form, and here you can enter your name and name like last name. Similarly, all the things, anything. I'm just putting random thing now. I'm from India and I give the contact number. So once I enter and if I click on submit button, it will call and see. Once I click on the submit button, what it happened, it will go here in the see employee registration.jsp. If I click on submit, it will perform the action and it will call the register a, this register URL, and that we already specify here in the employee servlet, and from here all the data come here and it will going to store in the database. So now if you verify it and once it is stored in the database, then we are calling the another JSP page, and that is employee detail.jsp, and that is appear here. So if you wanted to verify that data is stored in the MySQL or not, just go here and just right click on this database name, and not in the database name, on the table, right click on the table and select rows. Can you see all the data has been stored here? So that is the thing how you have to develop this form from the JSP servlet and MySQL JDBC. So these are the things whatever I explain here I have written in this article. If you face any difficulty, just go through this article, and I have also provided the source code. If you want, just go to download the source code. So that's it, and that's all I wanted to explain. If you face any difficulty, just go through this article and do comment in the comment section. If possible, I will definitely solve your queries. And thank you so much for watching this video, and good luck.